Close your eyes and picture the fastest way to get from point A to point B. High-speed rail, planes, bullet trains. The whole world has been engineered for speed. Now imagine someone built the exact opposite. In the heart of Europe, there is a train that takes 10 hours to complete a journey that a modern express train does in under 3. It rolls through mountains, meadows, and forgotten stations on carriages that haven't changed since the 1980s. And for a brief, beautiful moment, people are actually lining up to ride it. This is the story of that train, and what it quietly reveals about us. The train is called the Intercity Nieśpieszny. In Polish, that word, nieśpieszny, means unhurried. And that name is not an accident, it's a statement. Poland's national rail operator, PKP Intercity, created it in 2026 to mark a remarkable double anniversary, the company's own 25th birthday and the 100th anniversary of PKP, Poland's state railways. Instead of celebrating with something sleek and modern, they did something counterintuitive. They restored 6 vintage carriages from the 1980s, the kind with compartments and real sliding doors, and sent them out across the country. The locomotive pulling them is the EP0523, built in 1961 at the Škoda factory in Czechoslovakia. It has a nickname, Czesio, a Polish affectionate term for Czech thing, a nod to where it was born. It is the oldest active locomotive in PKP Intercity's fleet. Tickets cost between 49 and 229 Polish zloty, roughly 12 to 55 US dollars, depending on class, and they sold out within days of going on sale. Which raises the obvious question, why would anyone choose the slow train? The answer connects to something researchers call deceleration desire, a documented shift in how people relate to time after decades of hyper-efficiency. The modern world optimizes relentlessly for speed. Every minute saved feels like a win. But after decades of optimization, something strange has happened. People are hungry for slowness, for texture, for the kind of time that doesn't feel like it's being stolen from you. The Nieśpieszny doesn't hide its slowness, it celebrates it. Passengers don't sit staring at their phones. There's barely any signal through the mountains anyway. They watch the landscape change. They talk to strangers in their compartment. They eat. They think. For 10 hours, the train gives you permission to be unreachable. One passenger described the experience this way. It felt like borrowing time from a different era. And for a world that has forgotten what borrowed time feels like, that turns out to be worth paying for. The route runs south from Warsaw, the capital, all the way to Zakopane, a resort town at the foot of the Tatra Mountains on the border with Slovakia. The modern express covers that distance in under 3 hours. The Nieśpieszny takes 10 hours, 22 minutes. It stops everywhere. At Zawiercie, a woman boards carrying a basket covered with a cloth. The way people carried things before supermarkets made that unnecessary. At Oświęcim, the mood shifts. You can feel the weight of history through the window. Past Sucha Beskidzka, the mountains appear, first as suggestions on the horizon, then enormous, filling the compartment window completely. There is a restaurant car, a legendary Polish institution called Wars. It serves real food, barszcz, Polish beet soup, and pierogi, with drinks that evoke a gentler era. For the duration of the journey, it becomes the social heart of the train. The compartments hold between 6 and 8 people, depending on class. Strangers become, over 10 hours, something closer to acquaintances. People share stories in Polish, in English, in the universal language of pointing out the window when something beautiful appears. The train is designed to make you notice things you would otherwise miss. A river bend, a stork on a rooftop, the color of the sky 10 minutes before sunset over a valley with no name on any tourist map. There's something uncomfortable buried inside the appeal of a train like this. The reason people are willing to pay for it, to consciously choose more time, more friction, more slowness, is because the default has become so relentlessly efficient that inefficiency has become the luxury. The Nieśpieszny is not a museum piece pretending the modern world doesn't exist. It's a mirror. It shows you what you've given up in exchange for convenience. And for 10 hours, it quietly asks whether that trade was worth it. The train rolls into Zakopane as the light turns gold. The mountains are enormous and silent. 10 hours have passed, but somehow it doesn't feel wasted. It feels like the opposite of wasted. It feels like time you actually used. If you could choose, fast or slow, what would you pick? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more stories about the places the world is moving too fast to notice, subscribe. New video every week.